Ada wiped the sweat off her forehead as she pounded fufu in the small backyard kitchen of a family home. The scent of firewood smoke mixed with the aroma of freshly cooked soup filled the air. It was the only life she had ever known. Waking up early to fetch water, going to the farm with her mother, and preparing meals for her younger siblings. But something had changed in her heart. She was restless. Her childhood friends, Nena and Chika, had just returned from the city, looking like they had stepped out of a Nollywood movie. Their nails were long and perfectly done, their wigs shiny and bouncing as they walked. They wore designer clothes, expensive perfumes, and carried the latest iPhones. They moved differently now, full of confidence, like queens. The villagers whispered about them, some calling them big girls, while others called them Ashawo. But Ada didn't care. She was tired of the struggle. While she stayed back, breaking her back on the farm, her friends had transformed into city babes. One evening, under the dim light of a lantern, she sat outside with Nena and Chika. Ada, why are you still here suffering? Nena asked, sipping a bottle of cold drink. Come to the city. There are jobs everywhere, and life is sweet. Chika nodded. Yes, babe. This village life will finish you. You deserve better. Just look at us. Do we look like people suffering? She flipped her long wig, making Ada smile. Ada hesitated. But what kind of job will I do? Nena scoffed. Forget about that. Money is on the streets of Lagos, waiting for you. Just come first. That night, Ada couldn't sleep. The seed had been planted. The city was calling her. It took her 3 months to gather the money for transport. She sold her mother's old wrappers, did extra farm work, and even borrowed from a kind neighbor, promising to pay back once she got a job. The day she left, her mother hugged her tightly. Ada, remember who you are. Don't let the city change you. Ada nodded, but deep down, she was excited. She was finally leaving the village behind. The journey to Lagos was long and exhausting. She had never seen such tall buildings, busy streets, or so many cars in her life. When she arrived at the park, Nena and Chika were waiting for her, dressed in flashy outfits, looking like celebrities. Welcome to Lagos, baby girl. Chika screamed, hugging her. Ada smiled, feeling like her new life was about to begin. Ada's first few days in Lagos were a whirlwind of excitement and confusion. The city never slept. Cars honked at all hours. Music blasted from clubs, and the streets were alive with energy. It was nothing like her quiet village. Nena and Chika lived in a well-furnished 2-bedroom apartment in Lekki. The house was decorated with velvet curtains, expensive-looking furniture, and a fridge stocked with drinks and food. Ada was impressed. How una take afford this kind house? She asked one evening as they lounged in the living room. Chika laughed. Ada, you see the reason like village girl. Big girls don't stress. We make money, simple. Ada nodded, eager to learn. She imagined working in an office, maybe as a receptionist or a sales girl in the boutique, but something felt off. They took her shopping the next day, buying her new clothes, wigs, and makeup. Nena paid for everything without hesitation, brushing off Ada's attempts to refuse. Don't worry, once you start working, you'll pay me back, she said with a wink. Ada smiled. Life in the city was already feeling good, but she had no idea what was coming. One evening, while doing her makeup in front of the mirror, Ada decided to ask the question that had been bothering her. Nena, abeg, when I go start work? Which company una say I go work for? The room fell silent. Chika and Nena exchanged glances. Ada, we don't tell you say we get company job, oh, Nena said, applying lip gloss. Then what do you do? Ada's voice was cautious. Chika sighed. We do hook up. Ada's heart skipped a beat. Hook up? As in, a shower walk? Chika rolled her eyes. Don't call it that. It's escort service. We meet rich men, spend time with them, and they spoil us. Look at us. Do we look like people suffering? Ada's throat went dry. I can't do that kind of work, oh, she whispered. Nina sighed. We said the same thing when we started. But Ada, do you think this house, this clothes, the lifestyle, do you think it comes from selling recharge cards? Ada shook her head. No, but I can't. Chika crossed her arms. Then, how do you plan to survive? You think Lagos is easy? Nobody will feed you for free here. The words hit Ada like a slap. The reality of her situation dawned on her. She had no job, no money, and nowhere else to go. But could she really sell her body to survive? Ada sat alone in the small bedroom she shared with Chika, her mind in turmoil. She could hear laughter from the living room as her friends got ready for a night out, spraying expensive perfumes and choosing the best outfits to attract high-paying clients. Her heart pounded as she weighed her options. Going back to the village was not an option. She had promised herself she would never return empty-handed. But was this really the only way? She thought of her mother's last words before she left. Don't let the city change you, Ada. Ada took a deep breath and stepped into the living room. I still can't do it, she said firmly. Nena scoffed. Then you should leave. We can't keep feeding and housing you when you are insulting the same job that puts food on our table. Chika folded her arms. No money, no job, no house. Lagos no get pity for anybody, Ada. Ada's legs felt weak beneath her as Nena's words echoed in her ears. We can't keep feeding and housing you when you are insulting the same job that puts food on our table. She looked at her two friends, hoping for mercy, but their expressions were cold. Nena, Chika, please. I have nowhere else to go. Ada pleaded. Chika sighed. Then do what we do. Ada shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. I can't. Nena crossed her arms. Then pack your things and leave. Her heart pounded in disbelief. You can't just throw me out like this. I'm your friend now. Chika's voice was sharp. And we were your friends when we gave you food and a place to sleep. But you see our hustle as dirty. So why should you enjoy the money from it? Ada's lip trembled. I will find another job, please. Just give me time, please. Nena walked to the door and pulled it open. Time is money, Ada. Since you don't want to work like us, go and find your own way. Before she could protest, Nena pushed her small bag into her hands and shoved her outside. The door slammed shut, leaving Ada standing in the cold night air. She knocked again, her voice breaking. Please don't do this. Where will I go? Tears ran down her cheeks as she slowly sank to the ground, wrapping her arms around herself. The streets of Lagos were nothing like her village. The air smelled of smoke, and strange men lurked in the shadows. She clutched her bag tightly, scared to close her eyes. That night, Ada slept outside, curled up on the pavement. Every sound made her jump, and hunger gnawed at her stomach. By morning, her body ached from sleeping on the hard ground. She stood up, dusted herself off, and turned back to the apartment. Maybe they would have mercy on her now. When the door opened, Chika and Unena stepped out, dressed in mini dresses and high heels, ready for another night out. Ada rushed to them. Please, I beg you, let me come back inside. I will do anything. Clean, cook, just don't send me out. I will do anything. Chika sighed dramatically. Ada, how long will you keep embarrassing yourself? Unena looked her up and down. This is Lagos, not your village. Nobody does anything for free. Ada's voice shook. But we are friends. Chika gave a bitter laugh. Friends? Look at yourself. If you were in our position, would you keep feeding someone who insults your work? We are slave queens, not charity. Ada swallowed hard, her pride breaking. She stepped back as they walked past her, their perfume lingering in the air. As they disappeared into a waiting car, Ada felt something snap inside her. She was tired of suffering, tired of begging, tired of being useless in a city that had no mercy. By morning, her decision was made. She had nowhere else to go. She turned around, walked back to the apartment, and knocked again. When Unena opened the door, Ada looked at her in the eye. "I'll do it." A slow smile spread across Nena's face. Welcome to the real world. The moment Ada agreed to join them, everything changed. First things first, Chika said with excitement, "We need to touch you up." Nena dragged her to a salon where they installed a long silky wig on her head. They fixed her nails, shaped her eyebrows, and taught her how to apply makeup. Men love confident women. Walk like you own the world, Unena instructed. Then came the wardrobe upgrade. Tight dresses, high heels, and designer bags. Ada barely recognized herself in the mirror. The shy village girl was gone. "Now, you look like money," Chika grinned. "You see?" Unena smiled, adjusting Ada's dress. "You were born for this." Ada felt uneasy, but she swallowed her doubt. There was no turning back. That night, she was officially introduced to their lifestyle. They took her to a high-end club where expensive drinks flowed freely and wealthy men surrounded them, flashing wads of cash. The club was nothing like she had ever seen before. Wealthy men in designer clothes lounged on velvet chairs, sipping expensive drinks, their eyes scanning the women in the room. "Smile, act confident," Chika whispered, nudging Ada towards the table. "Men don't like nervous girls." Ada tried to steady her breathing as they approached a group of men. One of them, a tall, dark-skinned man, wearing a gold chain and a Rolex watch, immediately fixed his eyes on her. "Who is this new girl?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. Unena smiled. "Meet Ada, fresh and untouched." Ada's stomach twisted. Was that how they saw her? Like a product on display? The man's lips curled into a smile. "I like fresh things." He turned to Ada. "Come, sit with me." Her hands trembled as she lowered herself onto the chair. He ordered drinks and spoke smoothly, asking about her life, where she was from, and how she ended up here. Ada answered with caution, her heart pounding with every word. Finally, he leaned in. "Let's go somewhere private." Panic fled in her chest. This was it, the moment she had dreaded. As they walked to his car, her legs felt weak. She barely heard the music anymore, only the sound of her own heartbeats. The drive to his hotel was silent. Ada sat stiffly, her hands clenched into fists. When they entered the room, he poured himself a drink and gestured for her to sit on the bed. She hesitated. "Please, I need to tell you something." He raised an eyebrow, amused. "What is it?" Tears pricked her eyes. "It's my first time. I've never done this before." The man paused, studying her. "You mean you're a virgin?" She nodded, biting her lip. I just came to Lagos to find work, but I had no choice. I don't want to go back to the village empty-handed." For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, to her shock, he sighed and sat beside her. "I knew you looked different from the others," he muttered. "You're not like them, are you?" Ada swallowed. I don't know anymore." The man took a sip of his drink and set it down. "I won't touch you." Her eyes widened. "What?" He smiled slightly. "I don't force women. If this isn't what you want, I won't do it." Ada blinked, unable to believe it. She had prepared herself for the worst, but this was unexpected. Instead, he continued, "How about this? Be my girlfriend. You will live with me, have everything you want, and you won't have to do this job." Ada stared at him. Was this her escape? A way to survive without selling herself? She didn't think twice. "Oh, okay, thank you." A satisfied smile spread across his face. "Good choice." As Ada followed him out of the hotel, she felt relieved. Maybe, just maybe, she had found a way out of this life before it even began. But little did she know, she had just walked into another trap.